These are facts. Now, you ain't alone, because J.J. Redick, star of the Old Man and the Three podcast, exceptional job with him too, who contributes on First Take, jumped all in me when I said what I said about Kawhi Leonard on First Take. But make no mistake about it, I didn't back up. I came right back at him. Look at this exchange.
I mean this in the nicest way possible to both of you, but listening to each of you right now, it's very obvious that you've played zero high-level basketball, and you do not understand the requirements of doing that. Understand the frustration with the load management issue. What we're talking about here and questioning his injury, and you say, I'm not questioning his injury. You just said we saw Paul George get hurt. We didn't see Kawhi get hurt. Let's give the guy some credit.
J.J. Redick, first things first. You talked about it's very obvious that we didn't play high-level basketball. Newsflash, in this case especially, I don't have to. I've been covering the NBA since you were 8 years old. You think we make this up? You think we don't speak to owners, coaches, teammates, contemporaries, people who are in the league who do know what you know? Tony Parker is a champion. When he was in San Antonio, he questioned Kawhi Leonard. That is a fact. Look it up. It's in the archives, okay? You have several people who have looked at Kawhi. We know nobody's questioned his work ethic. Nobody has questioned how much he cares. Nobody has questioned what a dog he is when it comes to playing big-time basketball in big-time moments. But he is clearly unreliable because of his health. But he's never unreliable when it comes to getting to the negotiating table and getting every penny that he deserves. That was our exchange. J.J. Redick, former player, now an exceptional basketball analyst for the network at ESPN. Proud to call him a colleague, does an exceptional job for us. Love what he does on First Take, no matter how heated it gets with us sometimes. Got a lot of respect for him. I think he does an outstanding job calling basketball games for us as well. I think he's a big, big part of ESPN's future and deserves to be so. But we're going to disagree from time to time. And I'm not scared to disagree with him. Respectfully, as I told him to his face, I don't give a damn what he felt. Just like I don't give a damn what Paul George feels about what my take was on Kawhi Leonard. I'm talking basketball. And the fact of the matter is, on far too many occasions, we live in a day and age where load management, not to say that that was load management, I understand it was injuries, but the fact is, people are going to be skeptical about guys having time off because y'all do it on a regular basis. And you talk about literally in today's NBA, you sign a contract, and after the weekend's over, you're thinking about preparing yourself to get the next contract before you honored this one. Don't get me started with Kawhi Leonard and all the perks and the private treatments and the private helicopter rides and everything else that he gets. I mean, my God, I'm surprised that literally Steve Ballmer isn't doing Kawhi Leonard's toenails himself. Don't get me started with everything this man has done for Kawhi Leonard. It would be nice to see more of him. But that's all I wanted to say about that. What I wanted to get to before I ended this particular segment is this dude, Jackie Long. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Long was the one sitting beside Paul George that asked Paul George if I've ever played any professional sports. Jackie Long is also the person once Paul George said, hell no. I could sit up there and say, well, clearly y'all haven't done television, podcasting, radio, or whatever the case may be, at least not to the degree that I have. So what the hell do you have one for? But I won't go there because I like the fact that y'all have opinions and that I don't have to look around all over the damn place to find it. I like that. And I'm supportive of that. But Jackie Long, my brother, they describe you as a B-list actor. I didn't know this about you. And I want to state for the record, Jackie Long, I'm not disrespecting you. I'm saying that you asked the question, did I ever play professional basketball? And then state that I have no business having an opinion about it. I'm going to bring up some of your credentials with a purpose, and I want you to listen good. You were in Power Book 2, Real Husbands of Hollywood, the movie Atlanta, just to name a few. I'm wishing you nothing but the best, my brother. I hope that you become an A-lister. I hope you become a star. I hope all your dreams come true. Nothing but respect for you. We all got to start somewhere. Okay? But when you question a black man's resume, let me tell you what you've done. You've implied that I have no business talking about professional sports. Did folks walk around saying that about Howard Cosell when he talked about Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and George Foreman and all of those guys? Did they say it about Brian Gumbel when he was hosting NFL? Did they say it about Brent Musburger? Did they say it about Mike and the Mad Dog, who had the #1 radio show in the country for years? Did they say it about all those sports center hosts, Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann and Stuart Scott, the late great Stuart Scott, God rest his soul, and John Saunders, the late great John Saunders? Or did they say that about Bob Costas when it came to baseball? You see, Jackie Long, the problem that I have with what you did is only the one thing you said, which was the question you asked Paul George. My brother, I'm 55. Did you know that I started out my career covering calendar items and school lunch menus and birth listings? Did you know that I worked for free for a year while I was taking 18 credit semester hours as an HBCU? Did you know that I started off covering Pop Warner football for a weekly newspaper? Did you know that I ultimately worked as an intern in Winston-Salem and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and the Greensboro News and Record? Did you know that I spent a year living off of tuna fish and Kool-Aid? Did you know that I ultimately started my career off at the New York Daily News as a high school sports writer, covering the Stephon Marburys and the Felipe Lopez's of the world, Kareem Reeds and other guys like that? Did you know that my first interview as an intern was given to me by Nate Tiny Archibald? Did you know that when I was a high school reporter for the New York Daily News, Isaiah Thomas, the great Isaiah Thomas, the two-time champion in the Hall of Fame and one of the greatest point guards in NBA history, did you know that Isaiah Thomas stopped talking to the press just so he could walk over to me as a high school reporter and give me my first exclusive interview to a professional athlete? Did you know that two giants in the history of basketball, Clarence Big House Gaines and John B. McClendon, who helped organize a game in the middle of the night at Duke University because blacks and whites weren't allowed to go up against each other? Did you know that they were my mentors? That they the ones that taught me the game of basketball? Did you know that same John B. McClendon invented the fast break? Did you know that he learned the game under the late creator, James Naismith? He was the one that used to be sitting in the stands, watching when we would practice. Did you know they sat me down because they knew that I wanted to do what I'm doing today, and they were coaching me on how to be a conscientious observer of the sport, and they wanted me to be real and authentic and build my career while at the same time protecting people like you, to spearhead the way for people like you to follow down the road? Did you know that when I got to the Philadelphia Inquirer, I got promoted 9 times? Did you know that in 2003, I became the 21st African-American to be named a general sports columnist in American history? Do you know that? Do you know that my credentials, all of these sorry asses that are out here talking their smack, that are looking at me and wondering who the hell am I to be in this position and all of this other stuff, do you notice that they never, ever grab a microphone and a camera and invite y'all to watch while they put their resume up against mine? Do you notice they never do that? Because they'd expose themselves and they'd have to reveal they never accomplished what I've accomplished. I have people around me all the time who will validate everything that I've said as fact. Look it up. No, I didn't play basketball. I'm an elite journalist. I'm an elite commentator. I'm a host of the #1 sports morning show that's been #1 for 11 and a half years and counting. That's one of the reasons why yo ass decided to talk about me. Gonna get some more clicks, ain't you? I know how this works. I'm one of the people that helped create it. So when you sit here and you say something like, yo, don't talk. Who is he to talk about basketball? Jackie Long, don't you realize you're hurting yourself? My brother, I'm here doing this so people like you could be doing this years later. I don't have forever. I got some time, but I ain't 25. I ain't 35. It's people like you and others on the come up that's going to have a microphone and going to have a camera and going to have a studio and going to be in a position to do all of these things. What if somebody came and said, you have no business talking sports? When I just gave you my credentials. You ain't stupid. You a smart brother. You know my resume. And by the way, you're an actor. But you talk sports. How the hell do you get to sit next to Paul George and talk sports, but I can't talk sports? Sports, Paul George got his podcast, I got mine. Paul George don't have a #1 television show. Paul George ain't been #1 for 11 and a half years. For all I know, Paul George, how the hell you know what I said about Kawhi? Because you were watching First Take, wasn't you? Come on, bro. Paul George, you feel the way you feel about your teammate. You're wrong. I'm right. It's cool. No biggie. Still got love for you. You my man. And by the way, Jackie, I got love for you. I'll come on your show. I'll come on y'all show. All you had to do was call. I wouldn't have said no to Paul George. I didn't know you, Jackie, until a couple of days ago. I didn't even know that was you when I saw you talking to the brothers at Power. Michael and Gianni. I didn't even know that was you. Somebody just told me, you just finished talking to her. I had no idea. I had no idea what you said. And I don't even mind up until you said, I have no business talking about basketball. My brother, if I can't talk basketball, when would you ever be allowed to talk basketball? When would most of the people doing this be able to talk basketball or sports for that matter? Google me. Look it up. My resume speaks for itself. Hell no, I couldn't shine Paul George's shoes or any other player for that matter. Problem, no problem. But I was here before Paul George ever stepped foot on an NBA court. And I'm going to be here when he's gone, doing what I do. I'm going to be rooting that you, Jackie Long, along with Paul George, are doing it too. But let's not give this system the kind of fodder you just gave them. You want to disagree with me? Disagree with me. You want to say I'm wrong? Cool. You want to get at me like J.J. Redick tried to get at me or Paul George was trying to get at me? That's cool. That's fair game. Don't bring up that I have no business talking sports. I'm the best, dog. I'm the best. The numbers say it. The revenue say it. The ratings say it. And I'm saying it. You got a whole bunch of people that could do 1 or 2 or 3 things better than me. The arsenal that I have in me when it comes to doing television, I'll put my resume up against anybody. And oh, by the way, I didn't even add, I'm a best-selling author. New York Times best-selling author. Straight shooter. Second chances and first takes. 9 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. Yeah, you right, I couldn't play ball. Like millions and billions of people who tried to play ball. That's what makes you great, Paul George. One last thing, though. I am a champion at what I do. How many people can say that? I could say more, but I'll leave it at that.